What's up, my toy lovers? Alright, I'm going to do a review of the Tigra Marvel Legends character. Now, I am not really a mint on box. I've went back and forth of mint on box collector. The biggest thing was with G.I. Joe 25th anniversary. I kept everything on card, bought 2 of everything so I could have one open. But leaving the 1/18 scale and going exclusively to 1/12. With all the boxes, I mean, all the figures come in a box. Some of the artwork's pretty sweet, some of it not so much. I don't have a problem with just opening them all. It's not as cool just displaying boxes. But with the old retro, these cards that Hasbro does throws me back to the 1980s when I was collecting G.I. Joe, Star Wars, and whatnot. So I do really love the card art and just the nostalgia, so I keep them. So like with her, I bought 2 just because it was such a great figure. I wanted one loose for photos sitting on my shelf, whatnot. Some of the figures, if you know, like with some of them, they just give us multiples. I don't have a problem just buying one if it's a nice card. I don't need to buy 2 to have one loose. But with her, I think this might be one of the first ones we've gotten. Little backstory, I had to look this up, is initially she was created as the Cat in 1972 by Roy Thomas and Wally Wood. Early adventures were written by Linda Fite. And her appearance as Tigra was in Giant Size Creatures #1, and that was in 1974. She recently was, as Tigra, she appeared in the Avengers Academy #1 through #39, and that was from 2010 to 2013. So, not being a huge... Now, in the 80s, I was a comic book guy, but fell out of it. I started collecting action figures about 15 years ago. G.I. Joe was my #1 thing when I was a kid. So that's the majority of my collection. I love Star Wars. I've always loved Star Wars. I have a lot of Star Wars. Started to collect the Marvel Legends probably about 5 years ago. So it's not a huge part of my collection, but they're just awesome figures. I love the the Marvel movies like so many people do, and started collecting a lot of those figures. So I do also collect a lot of comic book figures, even though I haven't read them, and so I don't like have a draw with those characters that way. But I'm not an action figure collector because there's a lot of us that you have to have a tie-in, like with the nostalgia of my G.I. Joe when I was a kid. And that's why I love G.I. Joe. I know the characters, I know them, I grew up with them. But there's also, as an adult, there's a lot of action figures that it's a great sculpt. It's a great looking figure. I mean, I'm going to collect whatever I like, whatever catches my eye. This is one of them. Now, it's going to hurt me to open this card because I love these cards. I don't want to open them, but I bought 2, one to open and display. So that's going to be this one. I'll go ahead and do a review on it. Back in a minute. Okay, I got her out of that beautiful packaging. Hurt my heart a little bit. So she comes with an extra set of hands in the fist mode. Whoops. No stand, which we all know Hasbro's doesn't like to give us figure stands for whatever reason in the 1/12 scale. They do in the 1/18 scale. I mean, come on. They're loaded, and you can't tell me they can't afford to give us stands in the 1/12 scale when all these smaller companies do. And I know the price point of the smaller companies is higher, but give me a break. Anyway, then she comes with an alternate head, like, pissed off. fighting, I'm gonna bite your throat, rip out your voice box, whatever. Then Honor comes with the chilled passive head on, but clawed, ready to strike hands. So the Marvel figures are usually, you know, very posable. Pretty good range of motion. Can usually, I'm sure, you know, do the 360 at the bicep. We're gonna get double jointed elbows. Not as much flex as some figures. Obviously with the hair mold, we're not gonna get, she's not gonna be able to look up at all. Just look straight forward because of the hair mold. She can look down. Not sure. And you know, wearing the bikini, looking hot in the tiger stripes. Tiger tail coming out. And splits. Can't do the full splits. Which with female action figures, they should be able to. This is pretty weak as far as the female action figures go. Just pretty restricted. I mean, that's kind of a weak split. There's a lot of figures, even a lot of male figures that can do the splits. I don't know if it's because of the sculpting here. She does have the chest sway there. I mean, she can go, I mean, you can do a 360 with that. It's a ball joint. She does not have the butterfly joint, so that's a no-go there. She's got the joint here in the thigh, probably double jointed knee. Yep, double jointed knees, which is pretty common. The ankle, it's kind of weird on the Hasbro figures, how, you know, you got that gap there with the foot, but you can lock it back. So there's a lot of articulation in there. She can go all the way back. I mean, it's tons of flexibility in the foot for posing, so it's all good. Just with these figures, I use a lot of times, especially the females, since their feet are small, I buy these doll stands. That's what I use to display them. And of course, I probably don't have one on hand. Let me get one of those, I'll show you. Alright, so this is what I'm talking about. I buy these on eBay in bulk. They're just a doll stand. I don't remember. I mean, you can just type in that. Basically, it's this black base. And they come with this, they're metal. And you put this in. Starts with a K. They're Kaiser. So Kaiser stands. Now, there used to be a ton of them. They might be dropping. There might not be as many available. I mean, the last time I went to buy a bunch of them, like these little black ones were out. And these are made for dolls and stuff. They're not made for like the action figures. But I started buying them because you can put these small black ones around these 1/12 scale figures' thighs. I use them for my Star Wars. I mean, look at now, she can stand just fine. And you can get them really reasonably priced. And without it, She's gonna fall over. I have not yet gotten her to stand up. You'd have to get her on, you know, a lot of their female figures, you can't stand them on their own. It's for every line. Even I collect Mythic Legions. I use these doll stands for all the females. I also use them for like the elves, the smaller guys that have small feet. It's just kind of upsets me that Hasbro doesn't give us stands for everything. I mean, you need them, but I guess it's not going to happen. So yeah, if you get these little doll stands, they're cool. I got bigger ones that'll go around waist high. You can get them in black and white usually. And let's see, we got her. See if her head pops off pretty easily. Oops, sorry, that's other figures I got standing over here. In the Hasbro figures, usually the pop and swap are pretty easily done. So we got her pissed off head on there. Whoops, pull that back up. That way she'll be able to pose her. And let's see, I have a couple. I got a Scarlet from the Classified line. They're pretty close to the same height, same build. Black Widow from Legions. I think I have, let me get a... Sorry about that. Just trying to get a... I'll get a Mythic Legions. Female. I know they're pretty big. Everybody's loving the Mythic Legions. I've been collecting them since the beginning. Not to brag. But right there. So they're all right in there in the 1/12 scale, no problem. I mean, she's a great looking figure. When I first saw her, I was just like, oh yeah, that is just killer. Love the tiger theme, stripe painting. Could be because I'm a Cincinnati Bengals fan, but overall, just an awesome looking figure in my opinion. You know, yeah, we're hindered a little bit with the hair, as we are with pretty much all females, with some of the head positions, but it's not a big deal, in my opinion. So, enough articulation, good looking figure, decent paint apps, like the facial sculpts. So yeah, if you haven't picked her up, go ahead. I love her on the card. I've got one hanging on a wall. I had to pick up two, like I said, with these cards. That's what I do. I can show you my Black Series. Those old cards. That's where they suck me in. I buy multiples so I can keep them on card. And I'm glad when they come in the box, because those are the ones I open. I don't like to open the carded ones, because I just love the artwork on them. All right. Well, hoping everybody's having a good New Year so far. And I'll talk to you later.